What's going on here, everybody at YouTube? Welcome to a new little segment here called Explaining the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga. Also, be sure to give this video a like, support us on Patreon, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Even order some of the comic books that we have. Not the Yu-Gi-Oh! Ones. That's from, what's his name? Kazuki Takashi. So you have to go to him to order those there. Don't want to take credit from nobody. but uh but yeah, so here we are basically explaining you guys if you don't know, if you on the channel, we started reading the Yu-Gi-Oh manga in our storytime live streams, uh with people requesting, me do it in different voices, like Yugi's alter ego Yami, saying how it's time to duel, Mr. Dan Green. So, yeah, pretty much like that. But one thing about with the live streams, though, as fun as they are, and we still continue to do them, trying to explain what you're reading is not impossible, but there's only so much that you can do within it because you're having because other people are talking with you. You want to respond with them, but yada yada yada, and also as well as also read the story because there's only so much length of time that you have for that kind of thing, depending on the night. So anyway, figured that I would take time to before the next stream, which is going to be tomorrow, of course, April. As if you're hearing this after the weekend, it's already occurred, but April 10th, and also 11th, Saturday and Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central, live stream of reading more Yu-Gi-Oh! So, before we go into those live streams tomorrow, I want to explain what has been read so far in last weekend's live stream, as well as explain a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh! As and and as you see in the video, it's part one. So yeah, obviously I'm not going. Yeah, obviously there's a whole lot to explain about Yu-Gi-Oh. Because I mean it's a lot. Even just the manga series itself got up to at least like 34. Oh boy, 31 different volumes there. Yeah, 31 volumes, 34 volumes to be exact. Each consisting of little stories that they label as duels there, even though in every story in the beginning they're not actually dueling, but we'll get to that later. So anyway, uh, pretty much each part is going to explain pretty much what's being read in each live stream as it goes. That way so it won't overload you with a whole bunch of information, like in Rocco's Modern Life when they put a whole book of knowledge in his head, literally. Yeah, don't exactly want to do that to you guys. So let's so we're gonna start page by page, pretty much explaining what's in explaining as we go along. First, there's the little note here from the author himself. He says, "Yes, the Yu-Gi-Oh graphic novels been released, in which all of you have purchased this. Thank you so much. And for those of you who are borrowing it from your friends, please buy one." Kind of like what Tyler Perry would probably say when he first started off with his plays. Hey, and just remember, a lot of y'all getting these copies from other people and stuff like that. Make sure y'all support the site and everything. Buy it from the official site. Anyway, it must sound weird for the artist to be saying this, but I think that Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of a strange story, especially from the beginning. Although, at first, I wanted to create a story that centered around the mysterious and everyday life before I realized it. I ended up incorporating this and that so many different things. I hope you all become good friends of Yugi, Jonochi, and Anzu. Kazuki Takashi, 1997. Also, he added more to this. Well, actually, this is what was written about him. Artist, author Kazuki Takashi first tried to break into the manga business in 1982. Whoa, 6 years before I was born. But success eluded him until Yu-Gi-Oh! Debuted in the Japanese weekly Shonen Jump magazine of 1996. Yu-Gi-Oh's themes of friendship and competition together with Takashi's weird and wonderful art soon became an enormously successful, spawning a real-world card game, video game, and 2 anime series. A lifelong gamer, Takashi enjoys shogi, which is Japanese chess. Do you want to play a game of chess? No chess! If you don't get that joke, watch one of Linkar's. Watch the video with Suede and Linkar reviewing Pokemon. The second movie. Mahjong, the traditional Chinese Chinese tile game. Heard of that one. Card games and tabletop RPGs, among other games, and we all know what RPGs are. Those of us anime nerds out there. The avid role-playing games. So that's pretty much what the author wrote and what was wrote about him. And okay, so from what was read in the live stream, and be sure to definitely check that out. We'll have the link to the live streams that we did previously. Hear them read in the funny little voices that they request, or if you and definitely definitely be sure to pick up Yu-Gi-Oh manga so you can read it and imagine in your head what the voices are like. Oh yes, or read along when we're doing a live stream. So basically, how Duel 1 or Story 1 starts, the Puzzle of the Gods, referring to the Millennium Puzzle, of course. Starts off, you meet little Yugi Moto, as see in the pictures, if y'all can see clearly there. From okay, yeah, right there. So we start off, we see Yugi, and you see that he's really into playing different kinds of games, much like the author himself. Like the author himself explained in that little note. And he talks about one particular particular puzzle that he wants to solve, which again is the Millennium Puzzle. But it ends up getting taken by Joey and Tristan, who here are known as Jonochi and Honda, their Japanese name respectively. Tristan Taylor in the English Yu-Gi-Oh! In Japanese is called Hirosuke Honda, but they call him Honda a lot. And Joey Wheeler is called Jonotsu Katsura. Jonochi! So upon first meeting Yugi, Jonochi and Honda are not exactly being very friendly. They're kind of picking at Yugi, playing keep away with the Millennium Puzzle, and trying to dare Yugi into hitting them to get the puzzle back. This kind of relates to what Bombshell said about bullies. Bullies aren't always gonna just go like. Bullies aren't just gonna go, I'm a bully and I'll be back. Ha 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 ha. No, a lot of times bullies don't even claim that they're bullying. A lot of time, like Jonochi here, sometimes they'll just say like they're just playing around or trying to, we're trying to toughen you up. Yeah. So or any other way of referring to it, but a lot of times they're not just gonna come out and just be mustache twirling and all that like Uncle Scrooge. The villain will need a mustache to twirl whenever he does something evil. So yeah, you get the picture there. So yeah, they're daring Yugi to fight with them for the puzzle, and Yugi's states that he really doesn't like getting into fights or anything like that. And they pretty much are like, you're such a wimp. And just when they take a peep inside, Anzu Mizaki comes up, who is known as Taya Gardner in the show, and yes, Taya is spelled the same way that you would spell the word T, and I'm pretty sure people have probably made jokes about that. but yeah, that's the way you say it. It's either Anzu in the Japanese or Taya in the English. and if you and there's also a video on the channel that states about um, my little relation with Anzu back in high school there. So pretty much, yeah. So anyway, she comes in and scares Jonochi and Honda off, telling them to get out. And yeah, they flee. Pretty much, sort of like somewhat like how Cool Cat said to stand up to bullies. Yeah, but she don't. I don't think she really had to shout. I don't think she really just leave him alone right now. No, she just got real firm in telling them off, and they ran off. Yep, and it conveniently worked here. So, but do note that there are some bullies that wouldn't have ran off so easily. So it's good that that worked for this situation. Anywho, Yugi explains a little bit about the puzzle to Anzu. You know that he's actually been trying to put it together for 8 years. And you might be wondering, how would it take 8 years to solve a puzzle? Well, unlike most puzzles that show you what they look like when they're put together, and you're trying to make it look like the picture on the because they have the picture on the box and everything of what it looked like. The Millennium Puzzle did not have a picture of what it was going to look like. Yeah, only thing it has on the box, as you see here, are just the Egyptian hieroglyphs and everything, being that the puzzle is from ancient Egypt. Yep, and from what's known as the Valley of the Kings. So, Yuki has no idea of what the puzzle would look like, but he really wants to solve this despite how long it's taking him. And he even states that it might possibly grant him a wish, because it's a mystical item and everything. So why wouldn't it grant you a wish? Of course, if he ran across the magic lamp from Aladdin, he would get a Robin Williams to come out and grant him 3 wishes. 10,000 years can give you such a crink in the neck. So, what's your name? Your name's Yugi. That would be kind of funny. Anyway, Max, that was a little something for our co-writer, who's a Robin Williams fan. Anyway, so after he's explained, about the puzzle and everything, the story carries on with Jonochi and Honda, who are complaining about Anzu showing up and telling them off because how not saying everybody, but how some guys are when their pride is hurt. I am a man. Yeah, yeah, they didn't quite like that, as is obvious. But then something worse shows up. They bump right into this hall monitor. Very scary hall monitor. Oh yeah. Which of course is Yusho. Yeah. The pretty much like the school's big man on campus. He's not a school teacher or anything. He's a hall monitor, but Honda states to Jonochi that dude, do you realize who you're messing with? The teachers are scared of him. That's pretty bad when you got a student that bad. Oh boy. So of course Yusho walks off. They try to pretend like nothing's going on so they can get away from Yusho. And Jonochi explains to Honda that he took a piece of Yugi's Millennium Puzzle as a way of as his way of playing a prank on Yugi, and throws it out the window. Yep. So after that, Yusho then comes across Yugi and acts and tries to talk Yugi into having him be his bodyguard. But Yugi's like, no thanks, I'm okay, cool. Okay, see you later. and but we won't be. But that's not going to be the end of Yusho. Yugi gets home that day, and him and Anzu are greeted by his grandfather. So Sogoroku, uh, Sogoroku Moto. I haven't really said his name a whole lot, so forgive me if I mispronounced it. Um, as we all know, in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, he's referred to as Solomon Moto. Wise Solomon. And much like how Solomon was in the biblical days, how Solomon had all them wives and had to check out all the ladies and stuff. Yeah, in this manga here, Grandpa's kind of got a slight bit pervy mind. Yeah, it's in here because he questions Anzu about her bust size. For kids, family approved. And just do it, the manga is really for young teens and adults. So, yeah, don't try reading this to your elementary kids. Just don't try reading this to them. Show them the 4 kids, and when they get older as teenagers, then you can show them this. Okay, just wanted to make that clear. Like, why are my kids asking me about my bust size? So, anywho. So Grandpa explains a little bit more about the puzzle and show you a little bit how Grandpa looks there. he got he almost kind of scares Anzu when he pops up. Ah! Do stop screaming. A little bit of humor for the book. Yep. So and if you think that's funny, you see, Grandpa sounds like this in the English dub. But in the Japanese version, he sounds like this. I know Atsumatake. Oh! So he's give y'all any of y'all watching that about to go to the live stream, give y'all some ideas for voice suggestions for me. So anyway, he explains a little bit more about the puzzle. And how hard it is to solve, and he also mentions about the shadow games and everything, and the hieroglyphs on the puzzle, and how the user will be granted the knowledge of darkness, dark stuff. And Yugi's even more excited to solve it there. Well, can you blame him? However, the next day, he runs into Yusho again, who shows him this. Apparently, Yusho has beaten Jonochi and Honda really bad. Oh, so Yugi is in major shock at this, and it's like, why did you do this? He's like, well, they've been picking on you every day. Now, this is your chance to get them back, Yugi. Go ahead, hit them, kick them. But Yugi refuses to, and stands in front of them to keep Yusho from beating them up any further, stating that he doesn't want Yusho hitting his friends anymore. Jonochi's like, what? His friends? He considers me and Honda his friends? And Yusho's like, how would you consider these two your friends? They picked on you every day, Yugi. How is that friendship? Yugi tells Yusho that they weren't picking on him. They were teaching him to be a man. Much like what Jonochi said when he was playing Keep Away with the Puzzle. Yeah, this really comes as a shock to Jonochi and Honda, and they're like, whoa. Wow. He's really sticking up for us despite us picking on him? So Yusho doesn't take so well to this, and he tells Yugi that he's going to charge him 200,000 yen, which is about $1,600 in USA. About half, about probably half of a stimulus check for some people. Just saying. Oh boy, I ain't giving him my stimulus check. however, however, Yugi's not so fortunate in trying to once again decline Yusho, and Yusho ends up beating Yugi up for protecting Jonochi and Honda, and says that he'll beat him even worse if he doesn't pay him. Yeah. He even goes so much as to show a knife that he'll do it with. Oh boy. So Yuki goes home trying to figure out what he's going to do. He doesn't have enough money to pay Yusho with. But then a little ray of sunshine comes into his life when he ends up unintentionally solving the puzzle. But there is one problem. He's missing a piece. The piece that Jonochi took and threw in the river. However, just as Yugi's in a panic of where that piece of the puzzle is, Grandpa shows up and gives him the missing piece, explaining that Jonochi came by with the missing piece of the puzzle. Joey actually went in the pond that he threw it in to fish that piece out. Talk about lucky. Yugi puts the last piece of the puzzle in, and well, you could probably guess if you've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh, you know who's gonna come out of that puzzle. John Green. Now, actually, it's the ancient spirit of the puzzle, which in the anime was voiced by actor Dan Green. And of course did the famous call that we all know in the show, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dom 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 dom. And as we can see here, Yami in the manga series and when his first few appearances, as compared to how he would look later, kind of has a creepy entrance at first. There, yeah, yeah, he's like I say, it's the powers of darkness here. So, he challenged. So Yami, as they would call him in the English dub of the anime, before they found out his true Egyptian name, they were calling him Yami or either Pharaoh. Or if you go by the Japanese version of the anime, they would Yugi would call the other spirit in his Millennium Puzzle Other Me or Other Yugi. So we're gonna call him Other Yugi for the manga here. So Other Yugi challenges Yusho to a game. And the game involves a knife and some money. And they have to take turns putting the money on their hand and trying to stab the money with the knife without stabbing their hands. To get as much money as they can, the one that gets the most money wins the game. But the loser has to play a penalty game. Oh boy. Yeah. And I would advise y'all not to try this at home. Yeah, I know it looks, yeah, it's pretty daring here in the manga and probably looks really chilling and challenging, but do not try this at home. So the game starts and they go stabbing and stabbing and stabbing the money. But then eventually Yusho gets to the point where he's trying to get all the money at the same time not stab his hand. And his greed is sort of starting to take control, where, yeah, he's kind of having a hard time controlling himself in his mentality. So then Yusho gets the bright idea that, hey, I'm gonna stab you, Other Yugi! However, he jumps out the way and tells him, since you want to play hardcore like that, It's time for you to play a penalty game. Oh yeah. And that penalty game is the illusion of avarice, greed. In other words, you show now has to spend an eternity seeing nothing but money. He practically goes insane. Yeah, because the next morning, all the people at school come to school and they see him rolling around in leaves and garbage, thinking that he got a whole lot of money. Oh, this money is mine! Oh, money, 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 money! Yeah, this is pretty much what I think this is pretty much what the result of Mr. Krabs would be like if he really went crazy after that clams episode. Say, oh, I know what you're thinking. It's just a dumb old dollar. Let's just leave the old man. He won't notice. Yeah, pretty much like that. And I know a certain viewer probably listening to this is probably not into SpongeBob. Sorry. I couldn't resist. It was money. So anyway, after that bit of nuttiness, Yugi realizes that he's finished the puzzle. And on a good note, Jonochi shows up and asks to be Yugi's friend. As you see here, and gives that story quite a happy ending to that. Thus, that brings the end of story 1. And as with story number 2, that we actually the first live stream we've read story number 1, then which was last Saturday night, and just this past Sunday night we read 2 different stories, Duel 2 and Duel 3. Duel 2, Lying Eyes. A lot of this now. One thing I want to make note: a lot of the stuff that comes after that first one were pretty much like your sort of day-to-day problem of the month, the problem of the week, some type of scenario plot. Sort of like how Sailor Moon or Power Rangers would be set up. You know, the whole monster of the week and things like that. But eventually, things would happen to progress the series. Yeah, but you know what they say. Ain't nothing wrong with a little filler every now, in between them. Gotta have those. So, with what we read Sunday, we find out that there is a TV crew at Yugi's school, and inside the TV van that Yugi and Joey tried to peep into to see where the TV star is, there's a very crooked director who has his eye on Yugi to be the star of his next project. But that project is not a very good project, if you know what I mean. I'll explain more. So apparently the TV crew that's at the school is trying to do a documentary on bullying. How ironic, considering that we were talking about bullying in the first story of the series. The director, the crooked director, hands his assistant director a job to do in order to get their documentary off the ground. He hands him a picture that he's taken of Yugi some kind of way, and he tells the assistant director to dress up like a school person, like one of the students, I mean, and beat Yugi up in front of the cameras, just so they could get some ratings. Yeah, you see where I'm going with that. So meanwhile, Jonochi is convinced that there's a star at the school because of the band, but nobody believes him. And then here comes the assistant director, who talks to Yugi, disguised as a student, and he asks Yugi. Oh, I forgot to almost show some of the pictures there. It's kind of what the assistant director looks like there. I'll show you the director in a minute. So he tricks Yugi into thinking that there is a star to the school, and he makes Yugi think that the star is a girl, and says, You would love to meet her. Really? So he says, so the assistant director tells Yugi to meet up with the star behind the school. Yugi comes with some flowers, of course, because hey, it's a girl. Ah. But yeah, then. But once Yugi finds out that there is no star there, the assistant director starts pummeling him until, of course, Jonochi comes to the rescue. Like, what are you doing to my little buddy? And then they cut the camera, and the director then starts pummeling Joey for interfering with his tape there. And as you can see, there's a director here, and also there. So after seeing this, that's when we get the arrival once again of other Yugi from the Millennium Puzzle. And he's got a challenge for the director. He comes to the broadcasting studio and challenges the director to a game. The director's not too enthusiastic about playing a game. Like, get out of here. I don't get time to play with you. But he insists. And the game is pretty much a simple game of dice. Pretty much whoever rolls. Let's see how he explains it. Okay, they both roll the die. First, whoever rolls the lowest number wins. Okay, whoever rolls the lowest number wins. Yeah. However, if it's a top, however, if Yugi wins, other Yugi, then the director will have to play a penalty game, as we know. So the game starts, and and what it is, they roll for each other. Other Yugi rolls for the director, um, and it's a 6. So the director is certain that the odds are in his favor because whatever's rolled next is whatever's rolled next for him. Okay, wait, no, Yugi. I had that wrong. Sorry. Okay, so they roll. They have to roll the lowest. That's what it is. So Yugi rolled a 6. That means whatever the director rolls, which is going to be under 6, the director will automatically win. Or will he? The director rolls the dice, and at the same time he tries to throw it at Yugi to put a hole in his head. But I'm guessing some mystical energy must have occurred. I'm not sure exactly how other Yugi did this, but the die cracks from this action and splits into 2, causing the director to have a 7. And if you notice, there's a millennium symbol where the die should say 1. Interesting. So he's like a 7. That means the director loses, and he has to play a penalty game. And what is the director's punishment? He has to go in eternity seeing nothing but mosaic. In other words, his entire vision, he's practically blind. He's going to see nothing but sensor bits there. As you can see in his eyes. Ah! Yep. And of course, that ends the story there. But apparently, sadly, there is no star at the school. And in the last story we read Sunday, Heartbeat involved a guy who was listening to some very loud music. And I guess I assume that the guy in this one must be a narcissist because he's sort of full of himself there. Yeah. Listening. He sees Yugi and ends up talking Yugi into selling tickets for his karaoke concert. Which, yeah, that's why I mentioned this guy must be a narcissist because he thinks he's so good, but he can't sing. and his singing is terrible. Now just imagine you put that to the max. It'll be even worse than listening to Donkey sing in the first part of Shrek. Cause I'm all alone and no one is beside me. My problems have all gone. There's no one to deride me. But you gotta have friends. Stop singing! But apparently Shrek's not around to tell this guy that, though. Cause knowing Shrek, he probably would have beat this guy up for this. And it's all technically his bad singing would be more like Gilbert Godfrey trying to sing The Circle of Life from Lion King. I will spare your ears of that one. But if you want to hear it, it should be in one of the live streams. Not sure which one. So anyway, he gives Yugi these tickets to sell, which I think he stated the tickets are. Let's see how much he say these stupid tickets are. 2,000 yen, which is about 17 USA dollars. Yeah. Yeah, 17 is not much compared to the last price for the bullying thing, but I ain't gonna give him a dime for this. like Oscar said in one episode of Proud Family, oh, that's where you wrong, because I ain't about to give you a dime. Except we don't get struck by lightning. So, anywho, Yugi doesn't want to tell Joey or Anzu or anybody about the situation that he's in this story, because he's afraid of what this guy would do to them. So he decides to take the burden on himself. There's also another kid involved, but I'm gonna basically focus with Yugi and Mr. I'm a good singer, but I'm not really. Yeah, I'm just gonna focus with them, and you can find out more of the details when you read the manga yourself there. So, anywho, Yugi is unable to sell the tickets, and the guy shows up dressed up like Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley would be so disgraced at this. No, that's just me. Oh. He's mad at Yugi for not selling the tickets, and instead of doing what the director and the other bully did, he puts headphones on Yugi and puts his singing up to the max to practically hurt Yugi's ears. Ooh. And to look at his own. Oh boy, as Mike Epps say, that's hurting me in my stomach. Yugi's had enough of this, and then other Yugi shows up to teach this guy a lesson. Like you do. Like you do. So, what's gonna be the game in this episode? Well, they have these little sound clowns, and they have one placed in front of each of them. One in front of Yugi, one in front of Mr. Bad Elvis. I'll call him that. Mr. Bad Elvis here. And the point of the game is pretty much playing the quiet game. Y'all know about it. Y'all remember having to play the quiet game growing up. A lot of time parents would make us play the quiet game. Alright, let's play the quiet game. Be quiet. you be wanting to say something so bad, but mom and dad be like, don't you say nothing. No. So anyway, at least mom and dad didn't make you play this with a penalty game though. So anyway, they're sitting there quietly, not making a sound. But then Mr. Bad Elvis gets so anxious about winning this till his heartbeat starts beating, and since he had the speakers up to max attached to his microphone, the mic is picking up his heartbeat, and his heartbeat is playing over the speakers, making the clown dance. Oh no, since he broke the quiet game because his heartbeat made a sound, penalty game, beat festival. And his punishment, he's forced to listen to his heartbeat on max for the rest of his life. So all he's gonna be hearing for his life is just his heartbeat getting really loud in his ears. A boom. Oh, I can't stand my heart. Ah! Oh boy. He's not gonna be the same. So the penalty games we've had is illusion of money, sensors, and heartbeat. So so that's pretty much what we had read so far. And that's a pretty good picture. Like that. So the next so when we go to the live stream tomorrow night, we'll be going into the story called Jailbreak, which involves a convict escape from jail. So that'll be kind of it. That's a little dark, but it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how Yugi's gonna deal with that one. So yeah, that's pretty much explaining what we've read so far and a little bit about the series. There'll be a lot more to explain through each story, kind of piece by piece, and also enjoying the good little stories. That way, you don't shove all the knowledge down you at once. And if you have any further questions, like you want to know something right now that I have not explained, or or maybe I'm still confused, or like Bob Shaw would say, I don't get it. What was he talking? What were you talking about? Well, be sure to leave your confusions and questions in the comment section. So I guess we can chat for a long time in the comment section, and to say explaining it. And don't worry, like I say, ask the question. I will give you the exact details of what you want. And if there's something that I'm unable to explain, I mean, there's quite a bit that I know about it. But if there's something I'm unable to explain, I do have my anime mentor, aka Play Big Sister Casey, who can help out as well. So, like I say, we are your go-to for anime knowledge, as well as what we're reading currently, Yu-Gi-Oh. So that's it for this explaining video, part 1, and there will be more next week after but first, be sure to tune in for those live streams Saturday, tomorrow night, which is Saturday, at 8 o'clock p.m. Central, and that following Sunday at the same time. So definitely tune into that. And after those live streams, soon after that, there will be a part 2 of explaining Yu-Gi-Oh! Of the stories that we read in those streams.